You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
He got all those reps, and then look what happened in the game, right? So yesterday he got a lot of reps. He'll get majority of the reps today, and we'll just take it day by day. But the way our season's gone, all our quarterbacks are ready to go. So we got to get them ready to go.
Hey, all right, everybody. Welcome to the Cage Match Show. As you see, we don't have Oakland Raiders Savage, as was warned on Wednesday, but we do have Jeff from the New England Raiders Boosters Club here to step in and do the Friday show with us. How you doing, Jeff?
What's up? How you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm doing good, other than, you know, all this quarterback talk. I don't like to hear what's going on. I'd rather know what's happening there. But It is what it is. Before we get in depth about the upcoming game on Monday night against the Falcons, I forgot I have to do all this shit here. So let me find where I got to go for. Oh, it's here. Here we go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do my part of the shameless plug, and then we'll let Jeff plug his stuff here. So I'm going to go first here. Go to the YouTube channel, The Cage Match Show. Like, share, subscribe, give a thumbs up, hit that bell. That way you know every time a video drops. When we're done with the show, go ahead, visit WGG. Browse their website, order something, put Cage Match, one word, in the discount code to get 10% off your entire order. Go ahead, Jeff, your turn.
If you need to reach out to us, we're on, if you hit that Linktree logo, link right below my name there, that'll give you a direct link to all our social media platforms. They'll bring you to our YouTube channel, which is any_Raider Boosters. That'll bring you to our TikTok, Instagram, our Facebook group page, which is a private group, but we do allow non-members of the club into it. So if anybody out there wants to come on to the Facebook group, we're more than welcome. I'm usually the one that accepts or denies people. So if you got a KC logo in your pictures, don't bother. As you got something Raiders in your profile, you're welcomed in with open arms. And it's got our website link in there too.
Okay, well, now that we got that out the way, so how things been going since last time we talked?
Good. You know, I mean, I'm feeling good. You know, the team's playing like crap, but it's.
But that's the Raider way right there.
Yeah, there's not much we can do about that. That's for dang sure. You know.
Well, I mean, we can make excuses all day long. We got all those injuries. We got all kinds of shit going on. I mean, it's not the year that any of us expected and going, and, you know, hopefully things end up going better for us. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there who don't want us to win and want us to keep that number one spot. Let's see. I got a graphic for that somewhere. I think Raiders, not our record. Where is it? Come on. Oh, well, I can't fucking find it. He might have taken it off. Oh, no, here we go. The draft order right here. You know, we do have the number one spot as of right now. As we know, everything can change. Look at Jacksonville right there. They were in the number one spot. They got one win and jumped all the way down to number 5. So, you know, that being said and going, me personally, I want to get as many wins as we can out of this, get that momentum going, show what we do have as a team. I'm enjoying seeing the team not quit. We may be playing like shit and coming out with some bad losses, but I have not seen yet a single player, quote unquote, give up on the team. Like we did see on the Thursday night game, where apparently there was a player who in the third quarter said he wasn't going in to the game and turned around and walked into the back. So, I mean, we could easily be in that spot right now and not. I mean, for you here going, oh, there you go. There's your link. We'll put that up there for everybody. Go ahead. Go to that link there to find all of Jeff's pages and everything. And please go support Jeff in all this. He has another show you said just coming on later tonight. You're going to be on?
Raider Ben asked me to come on the show tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern time, so I'll be doing that tonight. And then I usually get on with Rundown and Turf and Leo for the Friday night show that they do, which is kind of like an open forum where everybody can jump in. So, but I've got 2 other shows during the week that we do too, which is the Raiders Countdown, which is myself, Leo, Jay from Just Raiders Win Baby, and LV Raider 10. All we do is we preview the game coming up. We kind of don't talk about the game prior to. We just spend more time talking about the next game up. And then on Thursday nights, I have my myself and LV Raider 10. We do the Raiders Coast to Coast. So catchy name because he's a West Coast. I'm an East Coast guy, so that's what we came up with. We kind of do everything. We'll do a review of the past game, the current game, and then any news and such in between. So you kind of hit everything on that show.
Well, speaking of news, you did bring up something to me earlier. What was it that ended up happening? Why don't you go ahead and let's go ahead and start there before we jump into whatever you know.
Yeah, with his little DUI issue, I guess. I guess supposedly it's his, allegedly at this point until everything's confirmed, but he was at practice today. I guess the police found him. There's pictures of his vehicle sitting hanging off of like a 4-foot wall. I saw those today. I don't know if you saw those pictures.
I didn't see. No, I haven't seen nothing. I did hear that.
It was a white Jeep Cherokee hanging off the front end. The cops found him basically passed out in his front seat, and so I mean, I don't get this because it's the same situation with like what happened with Ruggs and everything. It's like there's services for these players. They have drivers and cars on call at any point in time of the night or day for them to come and get picked up, so they don't do shit like this.
Well, even Josh Jacobs had that one situation at the airport where he ran into a divider or some shit and ended up with that big old cut on his head. And I agree.
I just don't get why they do this.
Every team has this set up for them.
Yeah.
And how hard is it to pick up the phone and just call your team, the Raiders, whoever number they got to call, and just say, hey, I need a ride home, and be smart about it. I mean, I don't advocate drinking and driving. I know I be drinking. I don't advocate it because, you're going to go out there just like, what was it, during the Super Bowl a couple years ago, leading up to the Super Bowl, Andy Reid's son left the damn place, left wherever he was with the Chiefs, and ended up hitting somebody and sent people to the hospital. Lucky that he didn't kill anybody, but sent people to the hospital. You're going to hurt other people before you hurt yourself in those situations.
Yeah.
And it's just, this Henry Ruggs, as you said, should be used as an example here of what can happen and how quickly, just like that, you can lose your NFL career.
Oh, yeah.
The likelihood of him coming back into the NFL after all this is going to be slim to none. There might be a team willing to take it. And now Snowden's doing the same thing of if I mean, this is going to lead, if it's true, this is going to lead to a suspension from the NFL. That's going to happen. If all this, come out, and then it's going to be left up to Mark Davis, whoever else is involved with this shit, to decide whether, to keep him on a team or not. I mean, when you keep having issues like this, and I get it, it's Vegas. I know Vegas. It's an easy,
it's a party city. I mean,
you party, but it's not that hard, like you said, to pick up the phone. I bet you they have it on speed dial to be able to go and say, hey, I need a ride home. I don't think I should be driving. That's simple. I mean, I told my kids the same thing. If they were out with friends partying, even though they were underage, please give me the call and don't drive home. I mean, I come pick you up and have to visit you in jail, in the morgue, whatever it is. And these players definitely have it. And I'm with you. I don't understand why they just can't do it.
I mean, it's not like they're going to walk around trying to find a payphone. I mean, everybody's got one of these. So,
I mean,
it's like you got to walk around looking for a payphone and hope you got spare change in your pocket. It's like everybody's got a cell phone.
Hey, that's showing our age right there. A lot of people don't even know what a payphone is anymore. You got to pay to make a phone call? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's not even as that. I mean, you turn around, Raiders people, have their things in place, but everybody, just about everybody, I know phones come with the damn Uber app on it, the Lyft app on it. Not that hard to just,
Yeah, they do.
It's not that hard just to be able to set it up and go, okay, I just need a ride home and just be smart about it. I mean, in my opinion, you gain more respect that way for being smart and responsible than you do for, well, I just thought I was capable of driving home.
Yeah. There's no excuse for that. I mean, it's stupidity. They're plain and simple.
Well, and it comes. I get some of these guys are young, got money, all this other shit. It happens. I mean, I'm sure we've all have driven when we probably shouldn't have. But I mean, you're a former firefighter, as you said, right? Former or current?
Former.
Okay. So I mean, you've seen some of the results that happens from people being this stupid.
Oh yeah. And 9 times out of 10, the one that caused the accident, the person that's inebriated, is the one that walks away with absolutely not a scratch. And it's the mom and pop in the other car that either get killed or get severely injured, permanently. That's always the way it is too, because you just got to remember when you're in that relaxed state because you're drunk. When you're not, and you're just sitting here like this, you tense up, and that's when everything happens. So that's why I have a hard time when people do this, when you've got other outlets to do what you got to do to get home safe and stay off the road and make it safe for everybody else too.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I mean, I'm lucky. I live in dirt roads and everything else out in the boonies. So probably the couple of times I shouldn't have even done it, I was all by myself. So, got lucky.
Gotta worry about riding horses drunk out there then.
Oh no, riding horse, you fall off and the horses are going to continue going. So, you just got to stand up.
Sponsor is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So MADD. So for tonight's episode.
Right? No, if you want to sponsor us, please, I guess. I mean, that's a great cause, though.
Prom kids, no driving and drinking tonight, kids.
Well, and that's that's the thing. There's always an outlet. There's always that phone call, and I guarantee every parent's probably said that to their kid. If you're going to do this, please at least give me a fucking call and don't do nothing stupid, because it's a life-altering situation that ends up happening, regardless whether it's to you or somebody else. Using the rugs as an example again. Going. He altered 2 lives right there. His. And I forget her name, but the lady that died and her dog, which is a sad thing that somebody had to lose their life just because you were careless. So we'll move on from that. And so we got a game coming up.
Just go ahead. Quick, though, real quick. All aside from the driving issue, but now the other thing, once you realize no one's injured, no one's hurt, and everything's a-okay. But you still don't know the status of what's going to happen with him. So now on another aspect, you're letting your teammates down, because he may not be out there to help you win games, which is what your ultimate goal is. So now you're letting even more people down. You're letting your teammates down. the fans are being let down because you're not out there to be able to help your team that everybody wants to see win. You know, well, probably half
No,
the
that
rate to see them win,
no,
but the other half just want a better draft pick.
no, and you're right on that though. I mean, it's you let your team down, you let your family down, you let everybody down in those situations, and it all, like you said, just off of pure stupidity. It's not that hard
Yeah.
to pick up a phone and make that phone call, or anything else like that going on and shit. So, but let's see what comments. I'm trying to keep up. Yeah, no, that's what we were talking about. Too many options for to do something stupid like that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. On that, I hope that it comes out that it's not. Oh, see, here we go.
Yeah,
The league has Uber and
everybody
other
knows
services.
that now. Yeah, I mean the fans know that. How do the players not realize that? But I guess moving on, right?
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
been obvious
we
it's
competed to
all-
death
yeah.
on this and going. It is what it is. Prayers go out that it's not as serious as it's being made out to be right now. Maybe he was just barely over the limit. We don't know. Again, everybody else out there, be smart, be safe, pick up the fucking phone is all we're trying to say. Don't do nothing stupid. Pick up the phone. Everybody out there, we all rather get that phone call than have to get the other phone call saying that you're no longer
Or
with
the knock
us.
on the
Or
door.
yeah, the knock on the door or whatever else it is. So going from there, I get out of this. I got to try to run everything. So this ain't going to go as smooth as it usually does. Again, we don't have Oakland Raiders Savage with us to be able to help guide this along. I'm going to do the best I can. So this show here on Friday is we're here to talk about the game we got coming up, head-to-head history with the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons leads the all-time series 8-7. So we're not that far behind on that one. No. It's apparently been a back and forth. They are second in the NFC South, behind who the hell did we just play? Tampa Bay. Yeah. Behind Tampa Bay. So, they're definitely hoping to get a win over us to stay in their hunt, while we're probably stuck in the fourth place. We just want some wins. And, well, I know I want some wins on this, but it's been, we've gotten, let's see, the last time we played them was in 2020, and we got destroyed. So I'm hoping for not that.
No.
I'm hoping for, I mean, to be honest, I'm hoping for another, what is it, the Chiefs game, something where you're in, battling it out. Those kind of losses are a lot easier to take than getting blown out 43-6.
Yeah, those type of losses give you a little bit of hope. A 43-6 loss just makes you feel even like more like shit than we already do.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, like, God, we really are that bad. You don't want a 43-6 loss. I'll take a 43-6 win. I'll take that.
I'll take the win that way. Oh yeah, but then that comes back as being what? That's a fluke, right? Oh, we got lucky. Whatever. Which that's fine. I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes. I mean, look, it's worked for the Chiefs so far this year. They should definitely not be 11-1 or whatever the fuck their record is right now. They've been lucky in going on all this. So let's go. The Kirk Cousins stats here. Now, this is for the season. He is, and I heard it earlier, seeming to be a turnover machine. He does have 15 interceptions to his 17 touchdowns, 3,396 yards with a 67% completion percentage. He's also been sacked 25 times.
I like that number.
Oh, I like that. Well, there's two numbers on here I like personally, and that's that sack number right there, because, we've been getting the quarterbacks here lately. So, I mean, we sacked Patrick Mahomes, I believe it was 5 times. I think we had 5 sacks the last game on Baker Mayfield.
It was either 3 or 4, I think, yeah. But it was close, though, still. Closer to 5.
I could have swore it was 5, but that could be. Maybe there was some of those were hopeful sacks. Just wishing they were.
There was 3 that Crosby should have had, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, well, that safety in the end zone.
Yeah, no shit, right?
But yeah, I like seeing the sack there. I like seeing that interception number right there because that's
the
in
number
our
15.
favor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's averaging, one touchdown, one interception. So, if he throws a touchdown, to me, the next step is maybe we get the interception there.
Well, I think one of the stats I saw on him recently was I thought it was 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions the last few games, I think. Is what
That
it
could
is.
be.
He had 2 interceptions last week and 0 touchdowns. So he threw for a shit ton of yards, but they were all meaningless.
Well, hopefully we can get that same kind of because in my opinion, our defense has stepped up and played well throughout certain aspects. We've had moments, yes. We started the Tampa Bay game a little slow, gave up 14 points right away. Looked like they were tired, whatever, from the game before. That was the Chiefs game, if I remember correctly. Going. So, where they were, they dominated in that game. I'm sorry, but special teams let us down. They came back alive, kept us in the last game. So, I don't see why. I'll go to this next stat here going. My concern here is Bijan Robinson.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think that
100%.
That there. We went over Kirk Cousins' stats. He got 215 attempts, 977 yards, 8 touchdowns, a long run of 37. But I think he's the one we got to worry about. Our run defense has been hit or miss, the way I want to call it. We've had games where we shut down big playmaking running backs, and then we've also given up big games to running backs that you're looking at, why the hell are they running all over us?
Yeah. Like I look at it this way with the Falcons offense. I think the Falcons had the upper hand against our defense, and mainly it's because of our secondary. With all the injuries that we've had this season, and just look at their 2 receivers. Look at the amount of yards that they've put up this season already, too.
Yeah.
I think there's a mismatch there in the secondary, and then we also have a mismatch up against the run with, like you said, with Bijan. Bijan scares me. Kirk Cousins, if we can get pressure on him and force him to throw those turnovers, then, because the thing is, he's not going to be able to outrun Max Crosby. There's no way.
No.
Like Baker Mayfield able to outrun and, juke and jive around Max Crosby. He's not going to be able to do that this week against Cousins. Cousins takes off running, Max Crosby's going to just smother him. That.
Thank you, RJ or RNJP podcast. We appreciate the subscriptions. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, and Savage here did get your information for you. In the last 4 games, Cousins had 8 interceptions and 0 touchdowns.
I knew I saw that.
So can we make it
but
the next
Falcons
5 games?
Fans know that.
No, I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they probably don't, though. I don't think a lot of fans of other teams do a lot of homework. I know Patriots fans don't do homework on shit.
Well, no, I could say that. Unfortunately, I can say that about podcasts for Raiders podcasts. There's some of them out there that don't do their homework either.
No.
That's where we try to be different and try to get the information we give. We try to be as accurate as we can and put it out there like you see right here on the screen. We were just talking about Bijan. We all know what he's capable of. But again, if you look at his stats right here, shows that he's as dangerous as he has ever been since coming into the league.
And in all honesty, you got a 1-2 punch with him and Algier too. So if one's not going to burn you, there's a chance the other one's going to.
No, and that's true. And I think Algier is definitely the faster back. So if he could, get you out that open, he's going to be harder to bring down speed wise versus Robinson. But Robinson is that power back that, he can easily hit the middle of the line, get you 5-10 yards from there. Then, if you don't tackle him right away, break it open and get a, 30, 40, 50-yard run.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, well, Right now, I don't think Penix is ready. There might be a reason why he's not in the game yet. Going. I think they
I don't
still
know
have a
why. I mean,
chance.
Clemson's shown that he's. You know what it is though? I think Atlanta is still the fact that they're fighting for their playoff life. So they're not going to come out and try and lay a turd this week. They're going to try their hardest to beat us.
Oh yeah,
You
well,
know,
and Kirk
they have
Cousins.
to.
I mean, yeah, Kirk Cousins right now gives you the best chance of getting into the playoffs over
Hmm.
Penix right now. I mean,
Hmm.
that's clearly, even though he's had, what would you just say, 4 games at 8 interceptions, 0
8 interceptions,
touchdowns.
0 touchdowns. Yep.
But it's that running game right there that we've been talking about is the reason why they've been able to still be, what are they, 6 and whatever, in the hunt for the playoff
Yep.
berth with Tampa Bay. I mean, here we're assuming with this graphic, thank you, Savage, we are Team Ramrod on this show. So we're assuming O'Connell is getting the starting spot for this game.
So.
63.2%, not far off of Cousins there. Only 899 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. But he's only played 3 full games if you count the other 2 that related with injuries. So 4 starts, but 3 games, the way it went. That's why his numbers are so low. Yeah. But it is what it is. We need him to show us, in my opinion, we need O'Connell to show us the O'Connell from the Kansas City game.
Yeah.
That O'Connell outdueled and outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and that's what we want to see in this game to be able to keep the Bijan and Algier off the field. Kirk Cousins, hopefully when Kirk Cousins is on the field, throwing a couple more interceptions would be nice.
Yeah. That would be great.
We got Abdullah stepping in, and Sincere McCormick. Now, McCormick's been playing well for the 3-4 games that he has started and going. So this is our 1-2 punch right now because I know Zamir's on IR, and I'm not sure about Madison, what's going on with him.
I thought they said that Madison was going to be because McCormick's definitely the RB1 now. They've already said that he's the running back number 1. I know Madison's still supposedly going to be involved, but even if you look at McCormick's stats, I mean, 32 carries, 170, that's only in 3 games. And that's not even as the bona fide starter in those 3 games. I think this past week against Tampa Bay was the only game that he came out at the start. So I mean, this kid's played great. He's improved every week.
Here we have the breakdown right here for you. 15, 12, 5 carries. His average per carry, started off 6.6. I mean, that's an awesome fucking stat right there. Yeah. Everybody wants that. And it's gone down a little bit, but still averaging 5.3, 5.2. His 3 games that he played.
I'll take a 5.5. I'd take a 5.0 all day long. Are you kidding me?
Right? I mean, that's great for a running back right there and going. So he's showing, granted, his longs we like to see a little bit bigger. 29 is not bad, but going. But I mean, I think he's not going to be able to. We can't count on McCormick to stay pace with the Bijan. Bijan is just, that different kind of back. He's big. Going, he's got an offensive line, but if we keep those kind of numbers going, that adding what he's got going on, and adding a Madison and Abdullah, whatever else in that. Now, what I just lost my. There we go. Our stat that would be awesome to be able to keep running game for running game kind of a thing. Then of course our top receivers, one of them is breaking records left and fucking right. Is Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
No, Kenneth. We don't know if he's starting or not right now on the show. We're guessing it's Aiden O'Connell because he did go to practice and everything, but we don't know. Oakland Raider Savage here was just saying, can we see a Ritter and Penix in there depending on how the game's going? Maybe. that would definitely be, an interesting, as you put on paper, the
Yeah.
former Falcon going against the QB that everyone says we should have drafted. But and then Jacoby Myers. I mean, he secretly stepped up. I mean, he's been the number one receiver. I've been saying it since he came to the team. He's been outplaying even Devontae Adams when we had Devontae Adams on the team. He was clearly the number one.
Yeah.
And there's a stat that we don't see on here and going, but it's been coming up and going. I've seen it a few times. Jacoby Myers has 0 drops this season.
I saw that today too. Yep.
Every time the ball's been in his vicinity, he has caught the ball.
He's got like a 96 or 97% catch rate. And the only reason it's not 100% obviously is because the ball gets thrown where he just can't get to it. But he doesn't drop. The ball hits him in the hands, he's catching it. Yeah, it's one of those, but to me that's an outstanding stat. That's up there with like Brock Powers breaking the reception record right now for tight ends and everything else, because that's just something you don't see a lot of out of a receiver. Receivers, and it happens, we know, I'm not knocking any receiver out there who has dropped the ball. It happens. It's part of the NFL. Sometimes your quarterback leads them into a situation and gone. But the fact that Jacoby Myers has 0 drops, I think is one of those situations where, everyone says we don't have a number one receiver. I want to argue it with Jacoby Myers. I think Jacoby Myers not only can be, but is a number one receiver, especially on the team now. And it's not necessarily by default. It's by his play. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. I mean, by default, he stepped up to be the number one receiver, especially this year with no Devontae at all. Because let's face it, Devontae really wasn't even there when he was there.
Yeah.
So Jacoby, by default, has stepped up as the number one. And he's done a hell of a job of it. Is he a true number one? Like, would he be a number one on another team? Probably not. But if you get a chance to get somebody that could play opposite of him in the draft or in free agency, that changes the whole offense big time. It's just the other receivers we have, they're all midgets. They're all small wide receivers. It's like the lollipop guild out there trying to catch footballs. Well,
I can't argue with that. I mean, DJ Turner, who's out on IR, he was on the shorter side. I think Trey Tucker is only 5 foot something, but he has the speed. He does have the speed, in going. Yeah. But yes, I don't know who the hell. Oh no, damn it! I thought I knew who the hell they brought in. They brought somebody in that was on the team.
He just played this past week. Number 80. Shit, what the hell is his name? We just said it last night too. It's true. I forget his name. I think he's number 80.
Christian Wilkinson.
He had a couple catches this past weekend.
Christian. I think it's Wilkerson.
We have one or two.
Something like that. Do we have that stat still up? We might.
I'm looking it up right now.
Let's see. Well, Savage is pretty good at having all these offense versus the Bucks. Receiving. Marshall Jr. Is that who you're thinking?
Maybe.
Because he's the only other one who has the catch right now on the against the.
Then it has to be him then.
So I mean, this is where Savage shines with all. He always has all these things for us to be able to go back to. Terrence Marshall.
I usually have a bunch of shit written down, but I didn't write it down this time.
Marshall is number 80. So
so that's him. Yeah, it's Marshall. No, Marshall's 84. Who the hell was number 80 out there? I could have sworn there was an 80. Maybe it was Marshall. Maybe it was. But he's the only other wide receiver we got anyway. So I mean, we're limited with wide receivers now too. Our overall problem is depth in every position.
Well, and really the only reason it's a problem right now is because we're stuck in the depth and we're having depth get injured and go. I mean, we've had all these starters. Again, I don't know if he has this one up. He had the injury record, players on IR. I mean, you go through here. This is everybody who's on IR. This is just IR, not even the other injuries that we have going on right now. Going. I mean, this is a huge list to have out for the season. Granted, excuse me, most of it is on defense, but we lost Turner, who was starting to have a decent turnaround, being a receiver and everything, and helping out, as you put, in the depth aspect. Zamir White, I know he hasn't been playing well, but we always hope that they get better with everything going on in that going.
I mean, the biggest one on that list that I think hurts the most is Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins. Well, I think him and Kuntz both. I think
him especially though. Like if we had him on the KC game, I think we would have won that game. I really do. I think we would have had a better chance of winning that game. I mean,
Wilkinson was back on the practice squad, but I think he was up in the 53-man roster there for the last game.
I don't remember seeing him on the field. I remember seeing number 80 on the field. I remember seeing that one, Marshall. But he didn't catch anything. I thought he did. But, yeah, I mean, the only offense we have really is obviously Brock Bowers right now. I mean,
and Jacoby. Well, I'll say what we had up there. Him and Jacoby Myers are the only two offensive threats. Well, and Sincere McCormick's starting to become that threat. I know it's a little too late, but at least we're starting to get the running going, which is helping the passing game go.
It's true he can't, but he is.
Well, he is.
I mean, he could be in the future too. I mean, look at years when the Patriots didn't have a bona fide number one wide receiver. Who was their top guy all the time? Gronk. It's the same situation. And Gronk has even said that he thinks Bowers could be better than what Gronk was if he's used right. No,
I remember hearing that, and I think that's a true statement. And then people forget Michael Mayers, who turned around last game, balled out because everybody was on Brock. We have that, that 12 personnel, those two tight ends, which going back to the Patriots, we know how successful that can be when you have both tight ends working well with each other, doing whatever is asked of them, whether it be blocking, whether it be catching the ball, whether it be, just what needs to be done, which hopefully in turn starts opening up these receivers, because now the linebackers have to cover tight ends, which I think that's where Bowers has been shining, is because ain't no way in hell a linebacker is going to cover Brock Bowers. Just like,
if he catches it over the middle, he's already in that next, the next level up. Now he's going up against the defensive backs. They don't stand a chance, and Snowball's chance of hell going against him. He's going to get another 5 yards easy, because he's not easy to tackle, because he's a big dude. Most of your corners aren't big boys. They're all, usually skinny. Look at Sauce Gardner. He wouldn't be able to tackle him.
Oh, no.
You just flick him away and keep running.
Well, you could look at the last Broncos game. They put their best defender on Brock Bowers, and he struggled.
Yep.
I mean, when it was going there, he did, but he literally had to take the best DB they had and turn around and put him on a tight end, and that's still a matchup, nightmare. Brock Bowers is a matchup nightmare, and and he knows how to take advantage of all this. I mean, his route running, everything else, going on when it comes to Bowers, I think will eventually, and it's starting to show here now, but you're going to see teams focus on him and take him away here and there. But he's going to be better than Gronk. He's going to be probably the best tight end in the NFL for many years to come.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing with what the Broncos did, it's a good thing that most of the teams we play, other than the Broncos, don't have a guy like Surtain that they can put on him. Because if that was the case, if every team had a guy that had his talent and his ability, Bowers would be a moot point. that would be they set the blueprint. If you've got the player, then that's what you do with them. You put them on him to stop him, because that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. But you stop him like Tampa Bay kind of did this past week, and guess what? Now we've shown that Michael Mayer can now go out there and do his thing. So that's fine. You want to take him out of the game, we'll come at you with this guy instead. So it's that nice 1-2 punch, which is beautiful.
Now, if we get to like I said, the
pieces are there. That's the thing. Some of the pieces are there. It's just a matter of using them right. I mean, at this point in the season in this year, I mean, obviously we all know the season's over. We're not going anywhere. We have no shot at a playoff. We've already been eliminated. So now it's just a matter of evaluating who's on the roster right now. That's what it really comes down to. And that's where evaluating guys like getting Ritter out there, see what he can do in game time situations. It's just unfortunate when Ritter's gone into a game, it's always been in absolute trash situations. It's not like he's had time to prep to go in a game. It's all of a sudden like, oh, AOC hurt his knee, get out there. Minshew did this, get out there. It's like, I mean, I know that's what they're supposed to do.
O'Connell was thrown in those same situations this year, though. When the game's way out of hand, you need somebody, to play Captain Save-A-Ho. It was throw O'Connell out there. Then it was start. Then he had the one start, then breaks his fucking thumb.
Yeah.
And then, that's an injury. Then he comes back and again, has another start, played damn well against the Chiefs, and it comes out in Tampa Bay, tweaked his knee. He even admitted it. He tweaked it the series, earlier. And then that blatant late hit, personal foul, whatever you want to call it, that never got called, that push just kind of finished the job. And then, again, I agree with you. Then Ritter's thrown in, who does not have, kind of reminds the Ritter situations reminded me a little bit of the O'Connell situation last year, where it was when he gets thrown in, it was nothing in his, in his power to be able to go. It was just here. Thrown to the fucking wolves, that was AOC's first game, and I'll say with Ritter just coming in, having to learn, a couple weeks of learning a playbook, and then here you're in, and then and then it was finally when O'Connell came in, he struggled at first and got better as the season went on because things were able to go and whatever, and I see that could be with Ritter, but Ritter coming in halfway through the season, trying to learn the playbook and then still be effective with an offensive line that has now hurt at least 2 different quarterbacks. I don't have high expectations out of Ritter when he comes in, other than to manage the game as best as he can, try to move the ball, and that's where a running game would come in.
McCormick. Just keep handing it off to McCormick.
That's where a running game would be great, because that would help a Ritter out. He doesn't have that magic with Bowers, with Jacoby Myers, all that other that continuity. He hasn't had much work.
These guys. Yeah, he's barely even still knows these guys. He's only been there for a few weeks. So he has no rapport with them pretty much. Even this week, O'Connell's taken the first string snaps. AP said it today. I was watching the press conference. They asked about O'Connell, and he's been taking the first team snaps. So, which tells me he's probably going to play Monday night. Because if that was the case, if there was any hesitation on him, there should have been Ritter taking the first team snaps if that was the case.
Well, no, I agree with you. I think with him coming back and practicing and going, as Anna
Anna.
It has not been said on who the starting quarterback is as of yet, but it's trending and looking like it's going to be O'Connell coming back, since it's not going. Okay, now let me see what we were just going over. What the hell did I just have up? Okay, so now we'll go into this aspect here with going. This is the rankings, in depth, going down. Here you have the Falcons, their offense averaging 371 yards a game, 8th in the NFL, rushing yards 120, 12th in the NFL. That's majority Bijan right there. Their passing game, Passing yards is 250, second in the NFL. And points per game, 21.4, 19th in the NFL. So their offense is ranked 8th in the NFL. Their defense, averaging 349.8 yards a game, allowing 120.7 yards a game. So that's 23rd and 17th. Allowing 229 yards per game, 25th, and 25.6 yards per game, 25th, for an overall of 23rd. Now, before I ask you about this, I'm going to go into the Raiders stats here, and then we'll have you go off and see what you see here. So the Raiders offense is, averaging 303 yards a game, 25th, rushing 79.1 yards, dead last, and we kind of known this. It's kind of been there for a while. Passing yards per game, 223, 16th. And points per game, 18.2, 27th, for an offense being totally 25th. Defensively, we have given up 334 yards a game, 15th. Rushing yards, 117.6, 14th. Passing yards per game, 217.2, which puts us 15th. And points per game, our defense has given up roughly around 27.8, 30th, for an overall defense of 15th. So with these numbers, what do you see, Jeff?
Well, the thing that sticks out to me the most right away is our offense versus their defense. How we match up fairly even with them, if maybe not a little bit better, except for the rushing. And that's where I think we make the impact, is right there. We get out of that 32nd place with the rush, and if it's done right this week. So I think we've got a better chance against their defense this week. Now, as far as their offense versus our defense, it's if Cousins has a good game, but we all know that he sucks on Monday on primetime games. He's not the best at it. He's got a chance to burn us, especially, like I said earlier, with our secondary being so hobbled with injuries and inexperience back there. So I mean, this is another chance of a winnable game here for us, to be honest with you. It's at home. How many fans from Atlanta are going to travel? Is it going to be actually more like a home game for us than our usual home games? Like how many people are going to show up for us? It's just, we got to break that 20-point barrier, man. We just can't put points on the board.
No, I agree with that 100% there. We definitely have to put points up. That's been a struggle for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Going, but I agree with you on it's a winnable game. I think if we can stop Bijan and stop the running game, then we force him, and I know somebody said it in the comments earlier, saying that, we can make them one-dimensional, and if we're making Kirk Cousins one-dimensional, we might be able to get those interceptions and turnovers. And I think that's another thing. The turnovers. Stop giving up turnovers, but getting turnovers, and stop the run, and this game could be ours. We can win this game. Yeah. And that's what it's coming down to. We haven't seen a lot of turnovers, except us giving the turnovers. We haven't seen the Raiders get a lot of turnovers in our favor. We are probably one of the very bottom teams in that turnover ratio. And
we were for the most part. We were for most of the season. I know recently we've been getting turnovers in our favor a little bit more, but
and we need to continue. And then, like you said, turn around and use those turnovers and get points off of those turnovers. That's going to be the key right there. Stop the run, get turnovers, get points on those turnovers. And I'm not talking about field goals. I'm talking about touchdowns. We need to get some touchdowns, because that's when, I think, we got a Falcons defense that's allowing 25 points per game.
Yes.
If, our 18.2 that we're seeing right here that we're averaging, we're not going to win a game that way. Not when they're putting up 21. All they got to do is average what they normally do. But if we could take advantage of their defense and score points, there's no reason why we can't win this game.
This game could be the McCormick and Brock Bowers show, is what this game could really turn into. It could be a lot of Brock Bowers getting back to his form of, because we're so used to him this season of having like 9+ catches a game or 10+ catches a game. He's had two rough games where he's only caught 4 passes each in those 2 games. Where he was really off, but that's because the defenses just took him out of it. I don't think Atlanta matches up against him very well. I don't think they can take him out of this. So I think this is a chance for Brock to really open up the field for us and get us some running room too. But getting
Maybe
back
with a
to
little
the
bit of help from
interception,
McCormick.
yeah, between him and McCormick, I think the two of them could really have a couple of good days with those two. I hope so, because I got McCormick on my fantasy team.
So do I. So do I. I picked him up last week because I needed a filler.
I picked him up a couple of weeks ago. I had McCaffrey too. I benched McCaffrey against Buffalo and started him, and I looked like a
that was
genius
before
because
McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah, McCaffrey got hurt, so I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful." But getting back to their our defense against their offense, if we get interceptions, we got to turn them into points, and that's the problem we've had this season. We're not turning any turnovers we get into points. We're just going back out there 3 and outs and we're punting away, or we're trying for a field goal and missing them, like Carlson did a few weeks ago. That's
that was very unlike Carlson, though. Carlson's kind of
it was.
Missing 3 in a game. We don't know why. We don't know what was up. Every kicker, just like a quarterback, they have those bad games. Kickers have bad games too. That's what I want to chalk that up to, because he's had some missed kicks and everything, throughout the season, but he's been almost Mr. Automatic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. He just that one bad game of all games too.
Yeah, the one we needed it the most. And that game, I keep saying, I don't put that fucked up call that ended the game, that fumble, the way it went out. I don't put that as our loss. Yes, we could have won the game.
I don't either. I agree with you 100%.
But if we would have made any of those other field goals, that wouldn't have mattered right there. That wouldn't have mattered. We would have
broke 20 points too in that game. But we haven't done much this year. We would have finished with like
20 points is hard for us to do.
Yeah.
20 points, whether it's and I don't know what it is. And I don't know what it is. I mean, I have my opinions. I agree with you. I think we have the talent on the team here. Injuries have hurt us. Injuries on the defense have hurt us to keep games a little bit closer to what they could have been. Maybe won some, going with the points that we scored. But, we've had a lot of one-score games to go. And then we got blown out by teams that we shouldn't have been blown out by, Carolina, shit like that. I think the talent's there. It's just we've had trouble. And I guess we're going to have to say, I guess it's been an OC problem. We've had problems utilizing the talent that we've had on offense to be able to break that 20-point mark. That 20-point mark per game.
It's funny because you put those stats up like you did, and we talk about it and everything, and we talk about how bad they are, and then you sit there and you reflect on the season, and you're like, son of a bitch, we beat Baltimore this year. Baltimore, one of the top of tier teams in the AFC, and we beat them at home in Baltimore, which is a tough place to go and play and win. And then you look at where we went after that. The only other win we got was Cleveland, and we barely won that one too. So it's like we've got talent. We've got a semblance of talent. We just don't have the right mixes of talent that's going to give us these wins. I think they screwed up when they started Minshew at the start of the season, and I think that came from upstairs because of the amount of money they were spending on him to play.
Okay, well, I agree with you. I think it was starting Minshew, but as me and Savage has talked about on the show and everything, I'm starting to believe that basically there was 3 people involved with that choice that we know of. That was said. It was Tom Telesco, it was AP, and it was supposed to be Getsy. And I think what happened was Tom Telesco and AP were split. Telesco probably wanted Minshew because he's the one who signed Minshew. AP wanted O'Connell because he's had nothing but faith in O'Connell. And so it came down to Getsy being the tiebreaker. And Getsy felt that Minshew, because he seems to want mobile quarterbacks, he just doesn't know how to use them. In this and going and felt he could do it, and that's why it started the way it did. And then with the firing of Getsy, all of a sudden, AP gave Minshew that one chance. Was it one or two chances, starting after that, and then decided, no, I'm going with my guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was Mark Davis.
So it's my call who starts.
Yeah.
So that right there tells me that he wasn't the winning factor on who they were going to start at the beginning of the season. Because if it was solely AP or his decision as to who to start at quarterback, he probably would have gone with AOC because that was his guy at the end of the season last year. That's who he rolled with, and that's who gave us hope going into the season because we looked good going down the stretch last year. They gave us a lot of promise. It was with the draft picks. I mean,
it was
I had
there
a lot of hope before the season started.
I did too with O'Connell start. I thought O'Connell last year earned the number 2 spot. He earned the backup position in preseason. He earned it. Plain and simple. He didn't get it. It went the way it did. Then they put him in for the last, 9 games of the season, and he played well. 9, he progressed, and that's all we wanted to see. We wanted to see him progress. Did I expect miracles? No. But he went 5-4 in those starts. That's a winning record for those starts. He showed that, he was going, and I know you're with us on the whole, I know he still has it on here, the, Team Ramrod here.
They're not.
Yeah. I know you're on there with it, but, and then I felt personally, I don't, when they were having the quarterback battle in preseason, I did not see Minshew beat O'Connell out. We were told
they were 50-50 all the way through.
I mean, I'm not Minshew. O'Connell's job, unless he got beat out. And I didn't see Minshew beat him out. And maybe you're right. It came from up top. Maybe it was the other way around. Maybe it was Getsy was one way, AP was the other way, and Tom Telesco was the tiebreaker. I don't think it came from Mark Davis, because if it came from Mark Davis or higher up like that, then the one thing that I've been seeing and reading, Mark Davis has made it clear. Telesco is not under any pressure to draft a quarterback, even with the number 1 spot.
Good.
There's been multiple stories and things coming out. He was not told you have to draft a quarterback. So that being said, I feel if it came from Mark Davis or even higher ups or whatever going like that, then, like you said, you thought it came from higher up. Maybe the higher up is Telesco. I'll give you that one. That's higher up. But it didn't come from higher than Telesco, because if that's the case, being that we have the number 1 right now, I think we would be hearing your job is to determine whether it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. You're drafting a quarterback, figure out which one it is that you want. But we're not hearing that. So there's a chance with the number 1 spot that we can take the, what's his name? Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter.
So there's a chance that could happen. There's a chance that maybe they trade out the number 1, number 2, whatever it is, because somebody else is giving, going. So, if it came from higher up, I feel the Minshew choice, I feel we'd be under that same gun and hearing a lot about going. Right now, it's only speculation that we're going to draft a quarterback. I made it known on this show, what was it, last week? I think it was, that I am 100%. I want to not draft a quarterback, give AOC his shot as hands down, no matter what, start the season, see what we have, work on the O-line. That way he has time, just like any quarterbacks. I don't care who you get. Without an O-line, you ain't going to have shit going. Give him a chance, see what we got. And if it don't work out after that, then go ahead. And I'll even say sell the farm. If you got to give up, because O'Connell wins 6 games, and you got to give up fucking 5 draft picks to go get Arch Manning, then go get Arch Manning. Do what you sell the farm that way, but see what you got in O'Connell, because I think O'Connell, he thrives under this kind of pressure. You don't believe in me? I'm going to show you. He's just not had an O-line. And we could go down Raiders history. I'm sure you could bring up other times and everything. When we have not had an offensive line, not a single quarterback can succeed.
No, and I agree. My whole take on like the way the season ended last year, he was going in the right direction. AOC. He showed promise. He had poise back there. It was kind of like he was thrown to the wolves in a way because he wasn't expecting to start last year. He figured he was going to be sitting the bench, and then the head coach gets fired. AP steps in as the interim. He anoints AOC as the starter for the rest of the season. The kid played respectable, which again, like I said, gave us hope going into this year that, all right, well, if he's our starter, it's going to be good things. Then they go and sign Minshew. I was kind of okay with having Minshew, but I wasn't expecting him to be a superstar with us because I knew our situation. We had no running game. People expected Minshew to come in and be like he was in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor's running back. He's one of the best running backs in the league. I know he's having some off year right now. He's not like he has been, but he's still a top running back. You had an offensive line. You had a coach that knew how to use Minshew. So it's a totally different situation. People always say like, "Oh, we should have had," but if we would have had Bo Nix on this team with the system we were running, unless they changed it, we would have killed him. He would have been killed. The offensive line couldn't block shit at the beginning of the season.
I'll add to what you're saying there. People who wanted Jaden Daniels.
That too. Any of those
if
picks.
If you'd have moved up to get Jaden Daniels on this team, you think he'd be playing like he is now?
No. And that's the problem is people don't realize, fans don't realize sometimes they just see the player and they want that player. But if you don't develop players around that person, that position, and give them weapons, they're going to be useless. They're going to be no different than what we're struggling with right now. You're going to have the best offensive line in the world. If you don't have a running back and you don't have a couple of good serviceable wide receivers out there, you're screwed. Granted, yeah, we got the best tight end in the game right now. Yeah, I'm going to say it. He's the best tight end in the league this year, hands down.
Hands down.
You've got him, thank God. But if you don't have a semblance, assembly of players around him, what's it for? And if you're trying to take a scrambler quarterback and make him a pocket passer, that's not going to work that well either. And if you take a pocket passer and try and make him a scrambler, that ain't going to happen either. You're going to realize that we have to play to the strengths and the physical ability of whoever we draft. And some people is just like, well, this is who we should get. The team's not geared that way.
But
you would have to get a whole new offensive line for some of these players that everybody wants.
No, exactly. I was going to go there. I was going to go there with what you were just saying. You draft whatever play, but they're not giving any answers for the rest of the problems, like the offensive line. We can get a Shador, get Cam Ward. Yes, they're mobile, but with an offensive line, if we keep this same offensive line, is it going to work for them? And I want to go here, and I'll get I'll answer it, then I'll have you answer it. Oakland Raiders Savage said, would you trade down to get more picks to spend on Manning? Me personally, yes. Right now, with what I said, I know it's unpopular with Raider Paul. I put your messages up there. Y'all don't want O'Connell. That's your opinion. You're welcome to it, just like mine is. In this case, yes. If we're going to give it to O'Connell, I would trade down, get more picks, work on the offensive line, because lower down, you can get the offensive lines. And then you're going to turn around. And if we got however many first rounders for the next year and it didn't work out, then yes, you have that capital right there to be able to use to trade up and help with selling the farm to get Arch Manning. You're going to have the things there so it doesn't hurt as much. So my opinion is yes. What about you, Jeff?
This is I wrote it all down. So when I'm asked this question, I can say it and I stick to my words so I don't waver because I'm old and I tend to forget shit, okay? Or I'd be like, oh, no, I didn't say that. So my thought process on the whole drafting for this year, and I giggled a little bit when I saw Savage's post. Michael Vick is the only in his prime was probably the only one that could survive our O-line, and you're absolutely right.
Maybe Randall Cunningham. It's
too big. At least Vic was too fast though. Cunningham's just long legs and could throw good.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he could run too. Don't get me wrong, but nobody was better than Michael Vick at that. So my thought process is if we get the first pick, we go for a Travis Hunter. Okay, so we grab Travis Hunter. We don't grab either one because I think Ward or Sanders in the first round is a wasted pick because your goal is to get immediate impact players in that first round, not someone that's going to sit for a year, maybe 2 years before they stop playing. So if you draft Sanders or Ward, the intent, because Deion's even said it, he would like to see Sanders sit. Brady said it, so they're not going to throw this kid to the wolves because he'll get eaten alive, especially if we don't build up the offensive line. So picking either one of those two, I think, is a wasted pick, especially the first pick overall. So you get somebody that's a bona fide talent, and that's Travis Hunter. And then you watch how the rest of that top 10 draft goes. And once it starts getting to like around pick number 8 or so, and if a player that you still want is still there, and it won't be either one of those two quarterbacks, so they'll be gone already. Then you trade back into that first round. And you do that by giving up your 2026 first round pick and possibly even the third round pick this year that we're going to get from the Jets because of the Devontae Adams trade. Entice them a little bit. Give them a little something extra. And if you're going to throw a player in, you throw a fucking player in. And if you throw a player in, I'm throwing in somebody like Colton Miller because you want to get as high back into that first round as possible. You want to get back into the top 10.
yeah,
And if
okay.
it's you grabbing the top defensive end or you grabbing the top offensive tackle or even running back, you grab that running back. And if it's Genty, it's Genty. If it's not, if it's someone else that pleases what we're going to do, then that's what you go for. Then in the second round, with your first pick in the second round, you grab your quarterback because these other quarterbacks that are going to be in this draft, I think are more second round type quarterbacks that could still be the future of this team. And you go with that bridge quarterback would be AOC. So AOC would come in as your starter next year. And he helps groom that rookie that's coming in and he sits for a year. Okay. And then the rest of the draft, you spend it on defensive backs and offensive linemen. Don't need tight ends. We've already got Hunter as our number one wide receiver. You want to bring in another one at free agency? Go for it. But here's the kicker. Okay. Free agency, you go after Najee Harris. He's available as a free agent this year if the Steelers don't tag him. He's a free agent. We've got the money. You bring his ass in as our bona fide number one running back, and you have McCormick and whoever the rookie is be groomed behind him. And now you're talking about, you look at that team, what I just said right now. You've now got your quarterback in AOC. You've given him a bona fide number one wide receiver. You've got Jacoby on the other side. You got Michael Mayer. You got Brock Bowers. You got Najee Harris. You got McCormick. You've got whoever the rookie is that you grab at running back, and you put the rest of your draft in offensive line. You bring in a free agent offensive lineman, and you still haven't even really dug that much money into your salary cap at that point either, because all these rookies are going to be signed for lower contracts. The only money you're going to have to sink into bigger money would be Najee Harrison. He's not that expensive. He's only getting paid right now like 3.6 million. I think it was. I looked it up. It's not that high. So even if you got to pay a little bit more than that, than like say 5 million for him, it's still going to be worth it. Kid's only 26 years old. That's how you build this team. Look at how much that offensive changed from where we're sitting right now, as we're talking here now, to what that would look like at the end of or at the beginning of training camp with all that talent you're bringing in. And if you don't trade back into the first round, you trade as close to the first round as you can, and you start stockpiling picks. The more draft equity you get, the more you're going to be able to build this team for the future, because that's what it is. You need bodies in training camp that can compete for jobs that guys already have now to try and take those jobs to improve this team. Wasting that first pick on a quarterback, I think, is a bad freaking move. Because, all right, so we drafted our number one pick was a quarterback, but guess what? Oh, so where's your number one pick from this year? Oh, he's sitting over there on, he's watching film and holding a clipboard as he's learning the position. Where's your number one pick? Oh, he's out there running touchdown passes right now. See, look at that. That's Travis Hunter over there doing that. That's what he should be doing.
No. About Travis Hunter, you think he's going to come in as a wide receiver or a cornerback?
You draft him as a wide receiver. You draft him as a wide receiver with the intent that he plays wide receiver full time. But you have that luxury if he can play cornerback. you let him get some reps in practice and everything at cornerback, so he knows the schemes, he knows the system that we run, and you use him in special occasions. Like, say we got to play against Minnesota, you put his ass on Jefferson, or we got to play Cincinnati, or we play the Rams. You got to put his ass on Puka Nacua. You know, you put him for a few plays on that, especially if the game's on the line. You put his ass on that special wide receiver on the other team. That's when you use him. You don't use him every down on defense. Like, he doesn't play both ways all game long. That's too much. The kid won't last more than 5 years in the league if you're even lucky. You don't want to burn the kid out. But you draft him as an intended wide receiver. That's how you do that. That's my thought process. I know it's fucking whacked, but that's what I go with.
No,
And even your
I
offensive line,
like that.
even what you got for your offensive line now. So even if you do keep Colton Miller and he comes back healthy, because his shoulder's definitely still hurting. You can see he just doesn't have that push off with his left arm when he comes off the line. You know, but so if you keep him, you've already got JPJ at center and you got Glaze at right tackle. So now all you need is two guys in the middle. You could pick up a free agent guard that can play either left side or right side, and then you just go for the draft. I mean, it's not that hard to just, if you stop and think, but everybody's so tunnel vision, like Shador. It's like, open your eyes and look around a little bit and just try and think and scheme like a wheeler and dealer and see what you can do. Because you can do it. You just got to have the balls to, pull the trigger and do some of these trades. That's the problem. That's what Telesco doesn't do. He's not a risk taker when it comes to trades. That's the only downside. Will Brady be in there make a difference? I don't know. But I just have a feeling if we draft Shador or Ward, we're going to have buyer's remorse. I really do.
Well, I agree with you there. I mean, like I said, I said my part, how I feel about it. And we talked about this with Peggy and going, and I agree. It depends on who we get as offensive coordinator,
And that's just it.
Because they have to be able to groom a rookie quarterback. If you get if you get a Shador or you get the Cam Ward, you need somebody who could groom them. And we went through all this with on the Wednesday show with Peggy, and that list. Let's see, is that list still up here? Potential.
Ray DePaul, if we finish a number one pick, we could easily take Travis Hunter. We got a number one pick. We can take whoever the hell we want. If we have the 5th or 6th pick, if we win a couple of games, then we ain't going to get any one of those 3 players. We won't get Shador, we won't get Ward, and we won't get Travis Hunter. We'll have no shot at any of those 3. You know what we're going to end up with? Genty. That's who our number one pick will end up being. Or we'll grab an offensive lineman, which is still too early in the draft to grab on that fast.
Or maybe still, like Savage said, trade back from that spot. And
well, that's just it. That's the only other option at that point. Because if those 3 guys are gone, then there's no sense in even picking in the top 10 at that point. Absolutely not. And any other quarterback on the draft picking at like the 6th or 7th pick is a super reach. Just like why we didn't reach for Penix at the 13th pick last year, which I thought for sure we were going to do. Bo Nix was picked. I'm like, we're going to take Penix now. We can still probably get him in the 2nd round. And then when they took Bowers, I was elated. I was like, thank God.
Well, Penix was already gone at 13. Penix went at 8 to Atlanta. No, Penix went 8. And Atlanta picked Penix at 8.
Who the hell was it in the... Wasn't Penix then.
Bo Nix was the last one that was available out of those tops. And then you had like Rattler. And then you had who were some of the ones that went later? You had Spencer Rattler. You had I can't remember off the top of my head. But once they picked Bo Nix, that was the last of the first 2 rounds that everyone had going for.
Paul, I'm not saying AOC is the future. I'm saying AOC is the quarterback for next year. Is what I'm saying. He's already shown that he can be that bridge gap quarterback. Because why waste money bringing in a free agent? Because someone like Sam Darnold is going to want a shit ton of money based on what he's done this year. And again, everything that we're saying right now, anybody, not just me or Asylum, anybody that does any type of podcast or content, everything that we say is all for moot until they figure out what they're doing with the coach. Meaning whether AP stays, who they hire as the head coach, the offensive coordinator, where we finish with the final draft pick, you know, and what type of scheme that offensive coach is gonna bring
And
in.
speaking of
So
offensive coordinators, here's your list of offensive coordinator candidates as of right now. And there's only really one person on here who has taken a rookie quarterback and made something of him, and that's Eric Bieniemy. He did it with Patrick Mahomes.
there's a guy I want that's not even on this list.
Okay, who's that?
Dayball.
Vrabel?
Dayball. I want Vrabel as the head coach, but OC. If Vrabel comes in, if my dream would be if I'm fine with AP staying. I really am. I'm not going to say to get rid of him after 1 year or a year and a half. But if they do get rid of him, I would like to see Vrabel come in as the head coach, and if he brings, because I'm sure he's going to get fired by the Giants. I can't see him staying there. I can't see them keeping him for another year. If they fire Dayball, then we bring Dayball in as the offensive coordinator, and there's two reasons why I want him. One, he's the whole reason Josh Allen is the way Josh Allen is right now. He's the one that corrected his shit and got him playing the way he is when he was the OC up there. Prior to that, he was the tight ends coach in New England during the Hernandez and Gronk era. He's the one that got those two playing the way that they did and got Gronk involved and Hernandez to what remember how they were as a 1-2 punch out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that we've got a Gronk and we've got a Hernandez and our two tight ends, but we've definitely got a guy that could possibly be just as good as Gronk, if not better. And I'm
I
not
don't know.
saying
I think Myers could be Hernandez.
I don't think he could be. I'm not saying that he's not, but he's like your poor man's Hernandez as far as his playability right now. He's only now starting to really show this season what he can do because of the time that he's missed this year. But you've got that potential. So if you saw what he did in the past with New England with those two guys, and what one of them turned out to be probably one of the greatest tight ends that I've ever seen play. In Gronk, I'll say it. As much as I hate the freaking Patriots living in New England, I can't stand them. But I admit when somebody is good, except for Brady. Brady's still an asshole. I admit when someone's good. And Gronk was amazing. And that's
Gronk
what
had
we
his
could
size,
have here. Yeah, I mean that's what we could have here. I think he's more athletic than Gronk. First of all,
oh, definitely.
Gronk was just a big dumb animal. That's how I always referred to him. Oh, me big dumb animal. My name Gronk. That's how I always dealt with him.
No, but he made it work though. Gronk made it work.
Yeah, I've met him quite a few times actually, because when I was on the fire department, one of the guys that used to be on, if you ever see Gronk and you see a short little stocky guy with him, they call him Goon. Well, he used to be on the fire department with us years ago, and sometimes he would bring Gronk with him because he was his bodyguard. So wherever he went, Gronk was with him. So he used to bring him to the station sometimes, and it was funny because some of the guys would get all gaga over him. I'm like, whatever. I mean, he's still a big bastard. I mean, I look at him and go, hey, he is big, but it's like, whatever. It's Gronk. He's a Patriot player. Doesn't even faze me. You walk in here with a Raider player, that's a different story. Now we're gonna have some talk. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk. Oh, and Gronk, there's a door. See you later. I can keep two shits. But, I mean,
I think that's how
I know my take's weird. I know my take is kind of out there, but I mean, tell me it doesn't make sense. I mean,
no, I can see what you're talking about there. I mean, I don't know much about him, but if he helped turn around, I mean, if he helped with Gronk and everything, we have high praise. Yeah. And that's a true statement. But I can see if he helped turn around Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen is, up there now considered one of the, better quarterbacks in the league and going. And if that's a possibility, I was just saying, based off the stats and what the chat, not stats, and then what was going on, talking about, and what you said when it came to, being able to do a rookie QB, the only one on the list as of right now that's available would have been Bieniemy. I mean, I'll take a Clint Kubiak too. I like Kubiak. Or whatever. I forget the name you just said, but the Giants OC,
Dayball.
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 Okay.
What do you think about What do you think about Graham? What's your feeling on him?
Patrick Graham,
Yeah.
I'd like to keep him personally. I don't
Good,
think
we're on the same page.
I with all the injuries we've had on the defense, I don't think it shows. I know there's other people who say he's only had one good year, this, at the other. He's got this defense playing well. He's got this defense going, and he can scheme. I think if we keep AP and Graham does not go for a head coaching job, we keep Graham. We're going to find out at least one more year.
And that's what
Now,
I said the same thing. If AP gets fired, there's only two coaches I would like to see stay with this team. One of them being Patrick Graham, and the other one, just out of what he's done in the short time that he's been in that position, is Philbin. What he's done with this offensive line since he took over as the offensive line coach has been phenomenal. And the fact that you've got two rookies that are working under him and have excelled so well in those few weeks that he's been in charge. The last thing you want to do is take that away from two rookie offensive linemen, is to take that guy away from them. Let him stick with them. Let him stay as the offensive line coach. I am fine with that because he's doing a hell of a job.
oh, I agree.
Those are the only two coaches I'd like to see stay. I'd like to see. I'm fine with AP staying, but if they get rid of him, I think those two should deserve a chance to stay.
Now, do you think the Raiders are going to get rid of him? Do you think Mark Davis is going to get rid of him, or do you think he stays? AP.
If he's smart, who AP?
Yeah. If Mark, you think AP's staying, or do you think it's a one and done, and we're actually going to be looking for a head coach after the season ends?
Well, if the plan was to do exactly what they're doing right now, and so lose games to get the first pick, then he's doing what he was asked to do. If that's the truth, so would he really get rid of him after the guy doing what he was asked to do, or if Davis didn't say anything and he's just not winning because it's not that the players aren't playing for him. It's just the decisions. The decisions are just, the bad clock management, the timeouts,
But that comes with the rookie head coach. He's got to learn it. He's got to learn it.
But he's obviously not out there calling the offensive plays and the defensive schemes. I'm sure he's got a hand in it, but he's not the one standing there with the Denny's menu calling the offensive plays like you see Andy Reid. He's not doing that. Like, he carries nothing in his hands. He doesn't. I haven't seen anything in his hands. The only one I've seen carrying anything around on the sidelines is Marvin Lewis, because he's walking behind him all the time with a clipboard writing down notes. I don't know what the hell he even does. So I mean, all your plays are being called in from the booth up top between your OC and your DC. So it's like he might have some input, but he's not sending the signals into your quarterback. Telling him this is what we're going to run. So how much of the play is really his fault in a way? Like Andy Reid, if the offense just tanks the rest of their season and they are just god awful, you put the blame on him, because it's him for not adapting to what they're doing, and because he's the one calling those plays for the most part, or having a heavy say on saying, always the OC saying, well, let's run this one, and he's like, that didn't work last time, let's do this one instead. So that's the type of input Andy Reid has. You can see it. All you do is watch games. You don't have to be, super analytical. You just watch the game and you can figure it out. AP's not doing that. It's just not the way that he operates. It's just not the way all coaches operate. So I don't want to see him fired because I'm just tired of the instability. But if he's going to get canned, it better be for Vrabel, because if there's anyone else that's coming in other than him, then I've lost all hope in us winning anything as long as the Davis family is involved with this team. That's just what it comes down to. I know Al kind of swayed a little bit towards the end when he was getting sick and everything. I chalked that up to the fact that he was just getting so much older, and his health wasn't.
Yeah, he was looking for that win
now. He wasn't all there at the end. I would never talk anything ill of the man, because everybody loves Al Davis. But Mark's even said, I'm not a football guy. That's why you have a GM. That's why you have a president that handles all this stuff.
And that might be why, like Savage says here, why you bring in a Tom Brady or whatever. And I know Peggy, why you bringing in a guy who's only played football and hasn't, done anything, but Tom Brady knows winning football. You can't say he doesn't. So doesn't, some of his views could help out. And I'm going to go here with Savage here and say, O'Connell can be the next Josh Allen. Maybe not as mobile, but again, it's all about OC and offensive line. Again, everyone's, talking about O'Connell and saying he's garbage when he doesn't have an offensive line this year. Last year, we talked about it earlier, a third-string quarterback who was thrust into a starting position, in going because, while he was only doing the third string quarterback, things going. But last year's offensive line was actually slightly better than this year's, obviously.
Yeah.
It blocked better. But O'Connell has shown his spurt that under the right kind of coaching, I think O'Connell can be that guy more than just a stopgap, can be that guy, can be a franchise quarterback. Let's give it a chance. And I could be completely wrong on it. It's just my opinion off of the things that I've seen. We could give him an offensive line. We could give him all this shit, and then he could fucking fall flat on his face. But I'm willing to give him that year and find out because I hate to be that team that gives him away. Look at Atlanta. Since we're playing Atlanta, look at what Atlanta did with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And then with the right coach and the right situation, Brett Favre turned into Brett Favre. Do you want to be that? Do you want to be that Atlanta and give away the possibility of something, or see what you got and then make that decision? Because there's a possibility of a better quarterback in next year's draft.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
I'm just glad we're past all this talk of every time a quarterback becomes available, like, oh, he could be the next Plunkett, or he could be the next Rich Gannon. Oh, shut up. Stop that. Stop that shit. Like when Daniel Jones became available, people were like, we should get Daniel Jones. Hell no, you don't want him. No, he's a bum. I don't know what the hell the Giants saw in him. I mean, I'm willing to bet that wasn't Dayball's decision, because I can't imagine that he would have said, oh yeah, let's re-sign him for a big contract. What was that contract, like $130 million or something like that? Guaranteed, super guaranteed money.
Something like that.
WNBA team. Brady owns some of that team too, so who knows?
Yeah, right. I mean,
yeah,
it going. Okay, so we've gone on a little long, which is fine. I was kind of hoping we did. Just means the show was flowing, but we always show. Oh no! If I could find it, get to the videos. We always have a know your history related to the team that we're playing next. So we have our know your fucking history of the Raiders versus Falcons in 2000. I believe that was our last win against them. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and then we'll end the show from here and go. Not right after it. I'll get your prediction on the game, and then we'll go to end the show. So let me just get this going.
And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history.
Thanks for the Raiders. You're clicking.
Wow, Zach Crockett. It's like, man, I forgot he was with us too. It's like, holy shit.
I just want to comment on this real quick, about O'Connell not staying healthy. This is actually the first year, granted he's only been playing for the 2 years, that he's had injury problems for us. And in my opinion, both of them were offensive line. Well, one of them was definitely offensive line, because that's when he broke his thumb, he was hitting the defender's hand and jammed his thumb. And then the other injury, which he's coming back from, not even out yet, so we can't even say that it's gone. He just left the game, came out of a late hit that should never have happened, but what had the tweak from the series before, which again was an O-line problem, not an O'Connell problem. And I can't say that he's necessarily injury prone, can't stay healthy. he's been dealing with injuries, or the injuries he's dealt with is only this year, and coming back, we could stem from poor offensive line play. I don't think we have the Mentos commercial up right now, Alicia. Oh, look. Let's see if we got it for her. She loves that commercial.
Today on a Tide commercial. Have you seen that one yet? Where he's
Which
at
one?
Allegiant Stadium at a tailgate. Tim Brown. He's
Nah.
got a Tide commercial. Yeah, he's got a little. He's got one of those little sling bags across his chest. He's wearing a white Raiders polo shirt, and he goes to eat a taco, and the shit just spills all over him. He goes, "That's okay. I got Tide." I'm like, "Wow, really? Tim Brown in a Tide commercial?" I'm like, "God damn."
Yeah, I know for the Mentos commercial, Raider Savage actually made a Mentos commercial with Tim Brown with the play and everything, but unfortunately, it's not up here to play. I'm sorry, Alicia, you don't get Mentos commercial. I can't see it. I don't see it. And going. So before we get to the very end of this and our outro, let's go ahead and get your opinion on how you think this game's going to go.
What did I say last night? Because I already put a score out there. If we win it, it's going to be like 21-14.
Do you think we could actually win this game, or?
I think we got a better chance to win this game than some of the ones we have in the past few weeks. It all comes down to who's going to start at quarterback. It's what it really comes down to. If it comes down to Ritter starting, then there's going to be a lot of running, I think. It's going to be a lot of running and a lot of short little dinky passes to Brock. I just don't think Ritter having such a low amount of snaps in practice is going to be able to really use the field to his advantage, especially with our O-line. I'm not worried about Glaze and JPJ and even Miller. It's Parham that just drives me nuts. Even this past weekend, he's the whole reason one of those plays faulted because he stepped on AOC's foot.
Oh yeah, but that was almost a touchdown though. That was still almost a touchdown.
It's like, are you shitting me? It's like even Parham just gets me every time. It's like the ball snaps and my eyes go right to 66. I just look at him right away. I just constantly watch him. I don't know why. He just looks so unorthodox out there. I don't know.
Well, my issue on the offensive line is also Colton Miller, like you said. Whether it be the shoulder, he's just getting pushed back way too much. I don't know if he's done or not, but I like JPJ at center. I like Glaze where he's at.
JPJ. My boy.
So it's just getting everything else going. The homer in me wants to say we could pull out this win. I like your score 21-14. That means our defense showed up, did its job. It might be more like a 28 or 23, 21 kind of a game. Might come down to the kicker kind of feeling. I think if our defense could stop, and it's going to come down to stopping Bijan Robinson and Algier. Stopping that run game is going to be the secret to beating the Falcons here, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we still could also lose it too.
Oh, we get stomped on and lose it 35-6. Who knows? It all depends. I mean, I got a coin to flip. Heads we win it close, or tails we fucking lose big. I mean, I got heads, so we're winning the game. Close.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll check back with you on Monday night.
Hey, I'm saying the coin flip said it, not me. The coin flip said it.
No, you flipped it, so it's all you.
So we're going to end this show like we always end this show with a word from Raider Milt, or Savage's old coach, Coach Milton. So hopefully we'll see everybody. Yeah, counting. Well, hopefully
count down the number one pick
changes.
in 4 games. I'll
4 games
Monday night.
I'm hoping we don't get the number 1 pick, because then we don't have to worry about a lot of bullshit. and go. I said what I want. We all know what you want. So don't forget, Jeff put his link back in the comments. Definitely go check out him, subscribe to his channels, watch him on everything that he's on and going. We appreciate you coming in and filling in for Savage again. You have any last words before we end this?
Go Raiders. That's it. That's all I got, man. Have a great weekend, everybody, and enjoy Monday Night Football. Thank you for having me on here. This was fun. I loved it. This was a good time.
We enjoy having you on, and we'll definitely have you on in the future. Again, I'm with them. Go Raiders.
No problem, Savage. You take care, brother. See ya.
All you other NFL teams, your tailgates are weak. Your teams are weak. We might be down right now, but it doesn't take away the history. And all you Raiders out there need to know your fucking history of who the fuck you playing for and where the fuck you're playing. Damn it. Oh, and by the way, I won my last cage fight again. I'm still undefeated. And you NFL motherfuckers out there that you think you want some, come on and get some anytime.